It's Thursday, November 11th. Coming up live on The View. They're the hottest topics, from brides-to-be hiding their plastic surgery until the wedding day, to whether you'd buy Bernie Madoff's underwear for a good cause, and why American women are some of the worst flirters in the world. Plus, Joe Scarborough's taking on rumors he's making a run for the White House in 2012, giving his take on post-midterm politics, from Palin power at the polls to whether Democrats can make a comeback. And Whoopi loved it so much.
She makes brilliant lasagna.
That today it's the joy of cooking sherry, when Chef Behar shows Sherry her family recipe for legendary lasagna. All that, hot topics and more, coming up live on The View.
Welcome to The View, and before we get into hot topics, you know, I cannot wait for today's cooking segment with Sherry, because Joy is teaching Sherry her recipe for lasagna.
Everyone wants a piece of me.
Yes. Which, as you know, Joy made for me for my birthday. Yeah. So, you know, I'm going to be out here.
I know you will.
And I'm just going to be skulking around, because that lasagna, I can't say it enough, that lasagna is good.
It's just
Did
a
you make
certain
some
touch.
for the rest of us?
There's enough for a few
bit
people.
For your other colleagues?
Yes, you can have a piece.
Free option?
No, well, don't worry. When she teaches me how to do it,
there's going to be a line
I'm going to teach America how to do it, how the Italians do it.
That's right.
Get your own cooking show. You will be all over the place.
Yeah, another show. That's all I need, Barbara.
And you know, today is Veterans Day, and it's a day we remember, the men and women in our armed forces. And Barbara, you recently had an eye-opening conversation with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mike Mullen.
Yes, and by the way, he and his wife are going to be on with us on November 24th on the Thanksgiving week, and that's very good. He talked about what it was like for our returning servicemen and women, and how tough it is for them, and how difficult it's difficult for people to get jobs in general. It seems to be more difficult for them, and more post-traumatic stress. And even though we think about them, and we have hospitals, and we have certain benefits, just in general, it doesn't seem to be enough. And so we have to give more thought to the men and women coming home. Then I had a very happy experience. I was at the airport in Chicago yesterday, and a woman came up to me, and she was carrying these big, long things of bubble gum, and she said, "I'm going back to Naples, Italy. These are for my children." She's struggling with them, and she said, "You know, my husband is in the Navy at the naval base in Naples, and we watch you all the time."
In Naples.
In Naples. So I assume that we are at many military bases, and if so, hey, thanks. Really, thanks.
Nice. Ultimate sacrifice. That's it. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but yesterday was also the 235th birthday of the Marine Corps.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know that.
The Marine Corps came about in 1775, and that's the year before America was born. And I just want to say, hey, you know, to all the Marines, because I love a Marine. Ooh, I love me a Marine.
There was a song. Do you remember the song? I love a Marine.
Oh, well, I don't think I ever sang it out loud, but yeah.
We are thankful today.
You know.
I'm sure they don't appreciate
Wait, can I say what Eleanor Roosevelt said? I thought it was really cool. She said, "The Marines I've seen around the world, they have the cleanest bodies, the filthiest minds, the highest morale, and the lowest morals of any group of animals I've ever seen. Thank God for the United States Marine Corps."
I bet she didn't.
Is that what Eleanor Roosevelt once said?
Yeah.
Our Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah, she knew what was out there. She knew what was hot.
That was so great.
That ought to tell you why I love them. These are my people. That's
Check
it.
that quotation.
We may.
Female executive Amy Aaron Blakely is suing her former employer, claiming she was told to hide her breasts because they were too distracting to other employees. Now, she filed 2 grievances with the company, and instead of help, she got fired.
Okay.
Sherry, what do you think about that?
What's her name? What was her name again? Erin?
Erin.
She was on my show, my other show last night.
Right.
And I don't, there she is with Gloria Allred. Now that's the woman, not Gloria with the purple. The other one is the woman. And look at the way she looks. Is that distracting, really? What is she supposed to wear, a burqa to work? She's wearing a cross yet. Maybe that's what.
I hope that Gloria Allred gets her every cent that she should. That offends me, because to say, this woman has gotten promoted many, many times. So to say that what God gave her is now his distraction, she's done her job well to the level that she's gotten promoted. So to say, I am so distracted by the size of your breast, something you can't do anything about, offends me.
Okay, can I say something? Because I'm offended. I think this is totally false. Okay? This accusation. It's my opinion, let me say. She is suing the Devereux Foundation, which is the nation's largest not-for-profit provider of children's mental health services. I'm familiar with it. Many, many years ago, my sister went to one of the Devereux Academy schools. They do wonderful work. I cannot believe that that's the reason they fired this woman, and I would like to read what they said. In no way do these allegations represent the truth about our organization or our staff. Here is what does. We have a deep and abiding respect for women in our organization, as evidenced by the fact that more than 50% of our senior leadership team is female. I have not been involved with the Devereux Foundation in many years, but I think they do very good work. I cannot imagine that this is the reason that this woman was fired.
So what do you think? She's doing it for the money?
Exciting story.
Is she doing it for the money?
I'm just trying to give the other side. I don't believe this is why she is fired. What did she say to you? Is this what she
said? That that's what happened, and Gloria is backing her up.
Part of what your argument said for what about women? You said separate from this, if women are not to be discriminated because of some part of their body, and you said something she can do nothing about, I think there's also a question there. What if someone has breast augmentation and then they did do something about it?
Woman,
I think we should cover all women, no matter what choices they make about their bodies.
Well, I'm speaking from a person who used to get it all the time about and I get it now because a lot of people will email me and go, why don't you get a breast reduction? It's like it's not like I came into work and I got implants to be bigger. This is something I was given.
My point is, what if you did? I think we should protect women whether they have breast implants, whether they have small breasts, large breasts. It doesn't matter. I don't think it should just be. I don't think the default should be, well, I can't do anything about it.
Been fired,
Yeah, but
as a matter of fact, you use your breasts in your act.
I had to. I'm a stand-up comic, Barbara. I had to. When I was on stage,
I'm not disagreeing.
I'm answering this. When I was on stage, I used to get hecklers all the time, and that's the one thing. Because I was a comic, I had to come back at them for that. It didn't mean comics used to do it. It didn't mean that it hurt any less. But this is something that was given to me. I'm not getting rid of it. I do my job well. So if this, it will be interesting to find out what happens, if this is indeed true or not. But no, we shouldn't discriminate. If you do your job well, so what? They're distracted.
I say stand up and be proud.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. If let's say it was a guy in the office who was wearing really tight pants, okay? And every day would come in with flashing the,
So he's trying to draw attention by the type.
And the women said, that's distracting. Then what?
But if you're trying to draw attention to your area.
That's a double standard. If you're saying he's trying to draw attention, then you have to say that any woman
specifically wearing tight pants.
You do recall that the other day we were talking about a young lady who, the sportswoman who was wearing tight pants and sort of a shirt that we would wear. This was another one.
The Spanish woman.
So should we assume then that she was doing the same thing, or should we assume that people dress the way that they're comfortable
now this lady,
and not to be surprised? Now I'm curious as to what she wore to work. If she was distracting everybody, what was she wearing? Was she wearing see-through tops?
But I think this could be distracting. This top,
it's
fit, because it's mustard. First of all, it looks like two big Dijon breasts.
Bill, are you distracted?
Is Bill you're distracted?
Bill can't even speak English at the moment. He doesn't know what to say.
But it's like when people would say to Sherry, they would go cover it up. They're huge. No matter how you cover it up, it's going to be distracting. But now the Spanish lady, she said that she didn't mind when the other people, she was used to it. She didn't complain.
What about the other young lady who also, was it Hannah? Was it Hannah? Who also was wearing tight pants and sort of a form-fitting.
They were wearing it with the athletes.
But my point, I don't know that that's why they were wearing it. I don't know that they were wearing it to do that. That is the point that I'm making, is that to say that the guy comes in with tight pants because he wants the attention may not be accurate because he may just be comfortable in his pants.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, he might want to wear a Speedo to work.
You know, it's interesting with Hannah Storm. If we go back to Hannah Storm, because it's funny, I talked to a lot of guys who watch Hannah Storm, and their comment was, she doesn't dress that way all the time. So when she did put that outfit on that we showed, they were like, whoa, you know, this is what Hannah Storm is wearing.
People just have to deal with it now, right? I guess that's what it is. But you know what it also is? It's also time for a break, and that's why we're going and coming back. But before we go, it was a big night for Miranda Lambert last night at the CMAs, okay? I gotta tell you, I don't know if you know her work, but she's wonderful, so you might want to pick up her CD. And also, Brad Paisley, baby. He's been here a couple times, and he finally won. Yes, Barbara.
When you're done, I have one more shout-out.
Okay, he finally won Entertainment of the Year. I can't go to it until you do what you're going to do.
I'll just do mine very quickly.
Yes.
To my colleague whom I love for so many years on the Today Show, Gene Shalit, after 40 years is leaving. I was with him when he began, and I love him. I just love him, Gene. Every good thing. Every good thing.
So, we'll bump out. We're gonna bump out with Brad Paisley because it's just too good not to show you. Check it out. We'll be right back.
This is your life in a song. Just like a road that takes you home. This is right where you belong. This is country music.
Study found that women in Spain are the best flirters in the world, while American women are second to last, coming in 19th out of 20, just beating out Ecuador. So do you think?
But
I don't know why it's funny to me.
Isn't Spanish fly from Spain? Isn't that the thing that gets you going?
I think Spanish fly is actually not from Spain. But it was a good, it was nice.
I made that association.
Yes, she connected.
But you know why?
I guess that's why they call it Spanish fly.
We are so busy being equal. And you don't have to open the door for me. And, okay, I'll split the check. I mean, we really are so, what's the, well, you know.
I think it's sort of changed how women flirt.
I mean, it seems silly for us to go,
woman?
oh, honey, you're so, you're so wonderful.
Well, you know what?
We frown on that.
We don't like it. We don't like it. Women don't like it when other women are flirting with a man in front of them. Do it when you're alone with the man.
That's a different story.
Well, that's,
no, but
I think the Spanish women are like, ven aquí, querida, you know, whether they're around or not.
To go along with Barbara's comment, I think, to go along with your comment, Barbara, I think in our society, too, it's so many girls that it's more show me. You know, with the flirting, it's like, no, I got to get naked to show you the flirting. I think, like...
That's true.
Look, let me say, Alejandra Jeffrey's nanny, she's from Colombia. All she does is tell people, ask for directions to the store, and they're all falling all over the street. And she's not, it's just the way it's a thing in her eyes.
How does she do it?
She says, do you know where the store is? And she just looks. But me, I'm like,
what
you know what a store is. Can you tell me what a store is?
I think
something she does.
Women who think poorly of women who flirt. I think women think poorly of themselves when they kind of get flirty, because we are in this, I think, nation now where we sort of equate it with not being good enough, so it's a default. Yeah. And I think we're not. Maybe we should start flirting again.
I don't know what planet I'm from.
You flirt, Will?
I flirt all the time.
But how do you flirt?
Just the way I'm talking to you. Just what I'm doing to you right now.
It's working with me. I want to give everything I got.
It's also your intent, because, you know, flirting doesn't necessarily lead to the bedroom. You know, that's not what it's for. It can help, but sometimes you know, if we equate that with that's what flirtiness is, that may be why people don't flirt as much, because they don't want to seem like they're saying, oh, come to bed with me. But that's not what flirting is about.
Yeah, because I think you're right. Go ahead,
If you do it in the office, that's very bad form.
Well, other women don't like it.
Because the men say you might have been asking
right,
for
and
something.
then the man says something, and then they're sued for sexual harassment. I mean, so we're sort of trained these days to be very straight.
The man says nothing if he's getting flirted to at work. It's other women
Can I
who
tell
say
you when I
something
met
if a woman's
Steve?
flirting.
When I met Steve, you know, these men, they don't even know what's going on. The guy is watching at this place we were at a Roman Polanski movie, A Knife in the Water.
Right.
Don't ask why I was at this event. And I just stood next to him because I thought he was cute, and I said, "Oh, what's this about?"
Yeah.
That's all I did.
Yeah.
28 years later, he's still there. That's all you have to do.
Well, you know, I just think, you know, we just have to be ourselves.
That's
we have to
right.
be ourselves.
And
we
you
can't
have
do
to
nothing
want it.
else.
You have to
and
want it.
And it depends, again, what you're looking for. If you're just making connections, you know.
Some women
But I
just
think so
flirt
many
with
women are so
everybody, though.
afraid.
The women who flirt with everybody. There are actresses that have come here over the years, well, of course I won't mention who they are, who flirt just with everybody they talk to.
Yeah.
They're annoying.
Everybody's in a great mood after that. I see nothing wrong
it's
with
true.
that.
Hey, you know, President Obama has a bipartisan commission looking into ways to reduce the national debt, and one of the most controversial proposals is to raise the standard retirement age from 67 to 69. Now, this would not happen. Clearly, people have mixed feelings about it. This would not happen until 2075.
40 years.
In 40 years, that's...
Right. 2075, and the people it would affect right this moment are now toddlers.
Yeah, so
Jeffrey.
speaking on
This
behalf
country
of
is
our
crazy.
toddler children,
Right.
I
So
think
Jeffrey, it would affect Jeffrey and Grace.
We cannot plan ahead 1 year to fix a bridge, and yet we're worried about 40 years from now in Social Security. Fix some things now.
Right, and this is not Sure, your parents have taught
I
us,
have a lot of things. We just picked this one thing. The commission has a lot of very, remember, it's bipartisan, and they have a lot of things that can be done quicker.
Do you
we
think
just
women
don't
are going to
want
like
go
this,
through.
watching their husbands in Barco lounges another 4 years?
I think the
this is a
problem
very.
is,
But we're looking at Grace, Isaiah.
here's the problem. You're paying longer into a system and being able to reap the benefits for a shorter period of time. It's clear math. So for the longer you live, the longer you're going to have to pay, and be it 5 more years, and then you're still going to die the same age that you were before.
Maybe
so you're going to have the benefits
The toddlers
left.
are going to have a longer lifespan.
No, they're
probably.
not. Then they should give away some sort of, you know, good meds with this as well.
I would like to compliment this commission because they are slashing. It's a very serious
slash and
program.
burn, yeah.
They're being criticized all over the place for it. Again, it is bipartisan, and we better do something. Oh, and this is not just President Obama. We better do something, or the deficit's going to harm all of our children. So, I mean, the easiest thing to do is to criticize, but all of us should take a look. I mean, it's sort of boring, and who wants to look at it?
They're extending the tax breaks now. They don't know what they're going to do with that, so they're not going to take money from the top now. So where is the money going to come from to help
If you
them?
look know that money will create jobs, and that's clearly
If you look at the list, there's a
evident.
whole bunch of different tax things and entitlements and so on. That's in the list.
I can't wait to see what the Republicans are going to do to fix it. I can't wait.
Why can't you be more bipartisan about it? You're like, here's the problem is you're almost getting that.
Because we
they're
gotta
gonna have a hard
go.
time.
We're going right now. We'll be back with more Hot Topics. That's the way it's going. Yeah, well, I'm not even going to touch that. The FDA
We're
is
discussing something in the station.
totally different that you're never going to know about, so we might as well keep going. The FDA is putting graphic new pictures and messages on the packs of cigarettes to warn smokers of the dangerous habit. Do you think it's going to make a difference?
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
I think most people who smoke, you know, like yourself, know what the dangers are.
Yeah.
But it's an addiction. And I think they should spend money also on better ways of being able to stop. I mean, I know someone very close to me who is allergic to the patch. They've got to find better ways, and the cigarette company should spend the money on finding the ways to break the addiction. People know this, and it's terrible. Maybe it'll affect
But do
teenagers.
you
Let's
think
hope.
just at least do something?
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, is it going to hurt to have it on there as opposed to the logo of the
I think
cigarette?
we should work on not getting people to start. You know, I'm kind of curious as to, like, I think getting a young teen idol. Get a Justin Bieber, get a Selena Gomez, get someone to say to teens, you know what, Justin Bieber, would you ever date someone who smoked? You know what, I wouldn't. Whatever they would have to say about it.
But then you catch the celebrity next month in the car lighting up.
Well,
that's
then
the only problem.
maybe they take a vow not to start. I think if we can work on not starting, then you can also work on the stopping.
And if they can vow abstinence, they can vow no smoking.
If it is indeed that, I mean,
That'll
we
work
have to
just
look
as
at
well.
this. And I'm not saying, look, and you know I love you, right? But you would never say to a kid to start, right?
You know what? Here's my thing. You want to stop people from smoking? Stop selling them.
Yeah.
Okay? And stop reaping. I say this all the time. States, stop reaping the benefits from the taxes. And that's why you haven't stopped, because they put a lot of money in your pocket. So they can put as many images as they want to on this thing. When they stop selling them because they actually really do care about my lungs, then I'll believe them. And now, a word from our sponsor.
About to tell you how Thanksgiving is almost here and how Stanley Steamer can help you prepare your home for holiday entertaining. But then I noticed this trail of food on the View set. Could we send one of our camera guys to see what is going on? Look at that mess. Where on earth did this come from? Oh, what will our guests think when they visit us? Ah, a solution. Stanley Steamer. Everyone knows that they are the carpet cleaning experts. But let's see what they can do with the rest of this trail of food. Wow, I didn't know Stanley Steamer cleans hardwood floors too. I'm glad they're here. Ew, how did we wind up in the men's bathroom? Oh, hey, there's Stanley Steamer again, cleaning tile and grout. I don't understand who could have caused this mess. Oh, gosh, it's Bill Getty. Stanley, can you clean him up?
You know, I always feel good about a messy Thanksgiving knowing that Stanley Steamer is around to help clean up.
Stanley Steamer has locally operated locations in 48 states. You can set up an appointment online at 1-800-STEAMER.com or by calling 1-800-STEAMER anytime, day or night. Food trail has been solved. We want you to get your home ready for the holidays, so members of our studio audience are getting a $100 Stanley Steamer gift card and spot remover.
Bill Getty is just so good. He has
such a mess.
He's like Tom Cruise.
It's very strange, but I'm shocked that they did not sing the Stanley Steamer music.
Oh,
you know.
have the song.
You know, I love that song.
How does it go?
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer makes carpets cleaner. We'll be right back with Joe Scarborough.
Scarborough may only have to deal with one female co-host on his show, the beautiful Mika Brzezinski, but he has no problem mixing it up with the five of us when he's here. Please welcome from MSNBC, Good Morning, what is it called? Joe.
Morning Joe.
How can I forget? I watch it every day. Please welcome back Joe Scarborough.
Everybody.
You can say that to America.
I said nice top. Is that mustard? What color is that?
Dijon.
So how
I'm not distracted in the least by it.
How do you feel
Look
about...
this way. What's that? Good. What do I feel about?
You want to comment more on everybody's legs or feet or toes?
No, I'm done.
Talk about
The mustard top.
All right.
So, all right.
Okay, so moving right along, how do you feel about flirting in the workplace, especially on the air?
Well, what are you suggesting, Barbara?
I'm suggesting...
You want to flirt?
I'd love to, but
Let's do it. I saw you interview Clint Eastwood that time.
Well, that's 100 years ago.
I was really uncomfortable.
That's 100 years ago. But I mentioned the beautiful Mika.
Yes.
And you and Mika flirt on the air, and I think it's wonderful and charming. How do you feel about it?
I'll call my wife and see what she thinks.
I'll move on.
No, we actually...
I think that's part of the charm of it.
We were just talking about it before, the great thing about our show. I mean, we have to wake up so early.
Yeah.
And I get there, and every morning I wake up, I'm like, I hate my job. I hate my job. And I get there, and there's Mika, and then there's Willie Geist and Mike Barnacle, and you go around... and we're great friends. We all love each other. We all have a lot of fun, and it shows. You can't fake it.
No, you can't.
No. So there you go.
I'm flirting with you too, Joe.
Yeah, baby.
I
I
know
love
exactly
you too.
what you're doing, baby. I feel you.
Yeah, right there. I'm like a Spanish woman, aren't I?
Yes, you
I
are.
got it.
Yes,
you
you
either
do.
got it or you don't.
I'm sorry I'm sitting between the two of you.
That's all right. We're flirting through you.
Okay.
So,
Anyway, so moving right along,
Yeah.
as we keep saying. Okay, there are rumors, and they're just beginning to circulate,
Yeah.
that if...
I think you just circulated them. But go ahead.
All right, well, you've heard them.
Okay.
That if New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg decided that he might make a run for the presidency, that a good ticket would be Bloomberg, and then you, because you are more conservative, but you're also independent. And in your wildest dreams, would you imagine that?
No, I don't think so, because Mike Bloomberg said he's not going to do it.
Well,
And I've said I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
I would like to.
already done it,
I would
really.
like to do something with Bloomberg, though, just so I could fly around on his jets. They're pretty remarkable. But no, I don't think so.
Who do you
No
have?
politics.
Who would you have in mind then for?
For what?
For the big game, then maybe moving down the road in 2012 for the presidential run.
I don't know. I haven't seen. I haven't seen really a Republican that can step forward right now. And
Giuliani was kind of coy about it. Newt Gingrich, same.
yeah, but again,
Sarah?
I don't see anybody that can beat Barack Obama right now.
What about Sarah Palin? I mean, the thing about Sarah Palin, Sarah Palin has been very influential in getting folks in. Everybody was watching her. What do you think she's got planned for 2012?
Sarah, a congressman said, and I think he's right, that but for Sarah Palin, the Republican Party would control the Senate right now. Sarah Palin got involved in Delaware with disastrous results.
Nevada.
Sarah Palin got involved in Nevada. She got involved in Alaska. And it went well in some states in the Deep South, but didn't. She's not a national ticket, and people are distracted by the fact that she draws a lot of attention. But in the end, maybe she wins Iowa, but then she goes to New Hampshire
Why can't
and
they
loses.
control her a little bit? They can't.
Why can't anybody control you, baby?
No,
I mean,
I'm not running.
No, seriously.
No one can control me. But I'm not running for anything.
But who thinks really?
Except my life.
Who thinks seriously that she can get 51%? She's selling a lot of
at this
books. She's got a lot of people watching her on TV. But right now,
But don't you
she's a
think-
cultural figure now. She's not a political figure.
Don't you think, though, that the fact that she keeps her hat in the ring as a potential candidate, keeps her making more money, selling more books,
Exactly.
doing more shows, if she says, I'm out of the race
Right.
completely, no one would be as interested in her, right?
And Newt Gingrich admitted that. He talked to Mitch Daniel, and Mitch said, I don't know if I'm going to run or not. Newt said to him, well, let people think you're running, because you can make more in speeches, more people will buy your books.
that?
And that's Sarah Palin's strategy right now.
But you're saying right now, there's nobody you could say who could beat President Obama. What do you think he could do to win a second term?
Well, I think it's going to happen. Yeah, everybody is saying the same thing about Barack Obama that they said when I went to Washington in '94, after we destroyed Bill Clinton. Remember Bill Clinton was holding the press conferences going, I am still relevant. I mean,
I feel your pain.
I feel you. But he was having to convince Americans he was still relevant. And we went up there, and listen, in off-year elections, you can beat something with nothing. But you can't in presidential
But if
years.
the economy picks up, which it seems to be
Right.
picking up a little bit now, he will be reelected. It's all about that, isn't it?
The fact that
The
Barack Obama...
joblessness goes down, and
the
it's-
fact that he has a 48% approval rating when there's 15% real unemployment, the right track, wrong track direction is more skewed with people thinking that we're going in the wrong direction than ever before, and he's still sitting at 48%?
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about something that just happened last week? And that is your colleague, Keith Olbermann, who was suspended for a short period of time because he
Right.
made campaign contributions. It also came out that you had made campaign contributions. He did
Right.
it to the Democratic candidates. Supposedly you asked permission and he didn't. What do you feel about this whole line of journalists? Are you a journalist or are you a pundit? What's your opinion on this whole thing?
I don't know what I am. I'm still trying to figure it out. But
You know what I'm talking about, though.
no, I know
We
what, I
have
know
to
what you're
change the
talking
rules.
about. Again, that's going to be up to the front office to figure out what they want to do. It's a fascinating conversation because the rules have changed over the past 10, 15 years. And as far as me giving contributions, I gave it to a longtime friend. and I get permission first.
Does it matter at all? I mean, your history of former congressman in Florida, I mean, does that kind of factor into how they would define you at all?
No, I don't think so. And since we started this show, Mika and I realized very early on we would be stupid to contribute to anybody politically because we have Republicans on, we have Democrats on, and if I contributed to a federal candidate, any federal candidate...
But that's your choice, you and Mika. That's not because NBC said you can't do it.
No, we would have to ask for permission now, too, but I would never ask for permission because in this case, like let's say I was going to interview Nancy Pelosi. If I contribute to any Republican across the country, I'm working against Nancy Pelosi's
I don't see where the
interests.
permission has anything to do with it, though. It's
What do
either
you
right, it's either right or wrong, whether they give you permission or not.
Well, I mean, they're guidelines or they're not guidelines.
But, Joe, on this panel, all of my colleagues can give their political opinions. Supposedly, I cannot, even though I give a lot of opinions in this show, because I'm a member of ABC News. So, I mean, it's whatever the rules are, they're so mixed up now.
You have to abide by the rules. I've got to say, though, the thing that I think works for our show, and you watch it every day, even though you don't know what the name of the show is.
Because I also watch Good Morning America.
That's right. But
yes, ABC.
But I think the thing that works on our show is that we're transparent. People know I was a Republican congressman. People know that Mika is center-left, that her father worked for the Carter administration. And I think that actually instructs people. When they come on the show, when I criticize Republicans, it is a Republican criticizing his own party. When I say Barack Obama's doing something right, it's the same thing. So the transparency is good. And Barbara, I want to know what your views are if you're reporting on a story. I want to know. And I'll tell you the one thing that I do think is a total sham, and I know you've heard it all the time too. Journalists that say, well, you know, I'm an independent, I don't register, or I don't vote, or I'm an independent. I hear that all the time. I'm like, please.
It's a lie.
please, maybe you don't, but I want to know what your
You
worldview
should say that people from the New York Times and the New York Post and the Wall Street Journal should give you their political affiliations. I'm not sure.
Well, no, exactly. But what?
Listen, we got. You know what it's like doing live television. So in my ear, they are saying we've got to go. Yeah. So I would just like to say that I think, Morning Joe, I think you're doing everything right. I think Mika's doing everything right, and we are always delighted to have you here. And I'm not kidding. That's true.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
I appreciate it.
Morning Joe is weekday mornings on some network. You can check your listing. Not network, cable. We'll be right back.
One of the things I love to eat is Joy's lasagna. She makes brilliant lasagna.
It is legendary on this set. I do a segment called Cooking Sherry because you know I can't cook. I would love for you to come on and
teach how to make it.
Yes.
You know, this pressure is on me.
Okay, I'm so excited. Since I am on a mission to learn my way around the kitchen, today I am ready to mangia Joy's lasagna.
Manja.
Manja.
Right,
I'm gonna manja. You gotta show me how it's done.
All right, I feel stressed.
Okay, all right.
That I have to be right now.
I'm right with
okay,
you.
look, the main thing I want America to know is you gotta make your own sauce. Don't buy it in the jar.
Okay.
Okay, take the olive oil, extra virgin, put it in the hot pot. Okay.
As opposed to just a regular virgin?
Well, if you can find a real virgin, try it. Okay, then you take the garlic, which is chopped up. Nice piece of garlic. They're the ingredients. Put it in there. Brown it up. Okay, then you take your nice chopped onions.
That's a lot of
Put it in
onions,
there.
Joy.
That's because it's gonna pay off. Trust me.
It's gonna pay
yeah,
off.
saute. You know, make it like soft and nice and like that. Okay, then you're gonna put. Okay,
we'll be sitting right
now,
here.
Now remember one thing. I've already done a step that I'm not doing right now, and that is you've got to saute the sausage in a separate pot or in this pot, whatever you want. It's got to be Italian sausage. Do not buy crappy sausages. I'm warning you. Okay. The mystery meat will not work, okay? Then you put your tomato paste in here, okay? It's so easy to make your own sauce. It's silly not to buy it like that. So, stir it up, bring it down, make the paste a nice thing in here until you feel like it's cooking. You can start smelling it. Take Italian tomatoes crushed from Italy. From Italy. Make sure they're from Italy. Put them in here. Stir it all up nice. Okay, now you've got your sauce. You can put some basil. You need to put basil in here. And parsley and salt and pepper as you like it. All right? That's the sauce. It's done. Let it cook for 15 minutes. Whoopi's salivating over there. Okay, so now you got your sauce done, right, Sherry?
Yeah, I got my, yeah.
Okay. Now you want to deal with your noodles.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to have your noodles. This I got from Ina Gartner on the Food Network. She's brilliant.
Oh, that was a secret. Okay.
This is a little secret I learned. Okay. Instead of boiling the lasagna noodles, which fall apart and get very watery, just take the hard noodles from a regular noodle company, put them in hot tap water for 20 minutes.
Oh, so just let them soak?
Yes, just let them soak for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Now, you see? Now you have a noodle you can work with. So those are sitting like that for 20 minutes, right?
Okay.
Now you got to make your cheeses, okay? Now you got your ricotta cheese, also full fat. Full fat.
This is full fat.
Do not put skim milk in this.
Ricotta
That's
cheese.
right.
Okay.
Another time to be, on a diet. Not today.
Don't worry about fat. It's
Take the ricotta cheese and put an egg, 1 extra large egg, mix it in with the ricotta, okay?
Yeah.
Now, Parmesan cheese, which you have to get the best, always the best.
Okay.
Pour that in here. Mix it all up together.
Whole thing?
Okay. Now you've got the cheeses mixed up. You got your sauce ready, right? And your noodles are ready to be assembled.
Okay.
So now you got to take your pots. I'm going to show you.
Okay.
The first thing you do is you put the sauce, a little bit of sauce on the bottom, and don't be too generous here because you want to have enough to last the whole thing.
Do I spread it?
Spread it around because you don't want the noodles to stick. That's
Okay.
why you put the sauce first. Okay? All right. Then take the noodles.
too much
I would
now.
dry these first. Well, dry them.
Okay, we're running out of time, Joy. We're running out of time.
Okay, now you start to assemble, okay? After that, you put a little more sauce on top of the noodle. Then you put the cheese, a little bit of the cheese. And, wait a second. Mozzarella cheese. The mozzarella cheese. I don't like it shredded. I like it sliced. Put the slices all
no
around.
mozzarella.
Just keep doing these layers until
keep
you are
layering
done.
it?
Until you are to the top.
Yeah.
And then on the very top, you're going to pour extra Parmesan cheese on
Okay.
top. And then bake it, okay? Now,
What's the meaning?
this is what it looks like when you're done.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Oh, this is so great. How long do you put this in the oven for, Joy?
I think about 35 minutes, I think.
At what temperature?
350 probably.
Oh my gosh! For more information on Joy's lasagna recipe, you can log onto our website. We're going to be right back.
Whoopi will be at Treasure Island in Las Vegas Friday. Joe Scarborough's book, The Last Best Hope, is in paperback, online, or in stores. Have a great day. Everyone, take a little time to enjoy the pasta.